Okay, this is my current project. It started out life as a Moto Guzzi California 3 1989, and underneath all the Americana it's actually the same frame, pretty much the same engine as a Le Mans of the same era. So if you strip it all down, you can then change it around and make it into what I'm doing here, which is a Café racer. This aluminium endurance racing tank I've just had made by Tab 2 in Wales. Not cheap, but it's a really nice bit of kit, and it's a shame to paint it, but it's going to be painted. The seat unit here is from a 70s Ducati bevel drive SS900. It comes complete with a nice little zip pouch for the back, so you can keep things in there. One problem with it though is that it's too narrow to fit over the frame rails of the Guzzi, but that's okay because if it did fit over the rails it would be too low anyway. As it is, it's just sitting above there as close as I can get, but while still being rideable. It probably could do with being a little bit higher for more comfort, but then it wouldn't look as good. Okay, the Tonti frame, same as the Le Mans, has quite a lot of work done to it. All the tabs and brackets have been cut off. Not too well done by me, but it's good enough. The back end here has been shortened and cut, and it's got a few more little small changes here and there, but nothing too radical. Stainless steel splash plate, one-off battery tray, which won't be used for a battery. The electrics will hide in that stainless steel tray there, which sits below the seat. As you can see, it's got a black powder coated frame, but the lower frame rails are silver, as is the swing arm. I did that for looks and also because the frame's had a hard life. It's got a few little dents and scratches and rust, and I think silver hides a lot of that early damage quite well. You'll also see, if I can move this, that the bevel drive has been drilled, just mainly for looks and to lose a bit of weight, while the carbs have been blasted and stripped. They still need a bit more work, I think, and are running just velocity stacks rather than a big old airbox. Okay, moving on to the front end. Standard forks, they're 40mm bi-tubal forks, a little bit too long, I'm not sure why, so they're currently sitting about an inch or so through the yokes. I may have to shorten them at some point, I'm not sure yet. One-off bracket for this Speedo, cheap LED indicators there, and this little billet piece to hold everything together. The headlamp shell's currently off being chrome, so we haven't got that yet. The calipers have all been stripped and rebuilt, new stainless steel fasteners and pins, which makes it look a lot better, I think. Okay, here we have the rear sets. They're Terozzi. Just waiting to get some exhaust systems for it so we can bolt it here. One problem I found with it was that these holes are 12mm, and yet the holes in the frame are 10mm, and 20 to 12mm is far too big, so we've got some aluminium top hats that sit here and in the mounts, so I can fit 10mm bolts, which nice and snug, which have also been machined to look a bit better. I don't know if you can see, but down here is the back of the gearbox, which caused me all kinds of problems because the clutch arm mount, which is here, I can point there, snapped, which caused a few problems. The gearbox had to come out, and had it repaired and welded, and hopefully it's going to be okay now. The reason being that I think it just had corrosion, and the pin which keeps it in place was a seized solid, which I didn't realise at the time. But it's all done now. And what else? The engine itself, being from a California, and surprisingly enough, it's got carbs, and it's still got points ignition, which was a surprise from 89. Soon after they changed to injection, but that's not for me. The engine's 1000cc, quite a soft state of tune, so it should make a nice road bike. But if I feel it needs a bit more, then Le Mans parts will go straight on. So cams, heads, bit bigger 40mm or 36mm Delautos. I think these are only 30, so not huge. and I will be doing a few more little changes to the engine in the future when I can afford it, such as a deeper sump, maybe an external oil filter, because Guzzi's being Guzzi's, the oil filter sits inside the sump, so you've got to take the bottom of the sump off to change the oil filter, which isn't very good. Okay, as you can see, here's some parts that have yet to go on the bike. This is the rear hub, and this is the disc carrier, which has been blasted, etched, primed and painted silver. They can't be reassembled yet because I'm still saving up to buy the new spokes and Murad flanged rims. That will happen in July, I think. And here we see the front hub. These Lucas coils will work on a Guzzi. The old cores were damaged, so I got these because they're cheap, but I'm afraid they're a bit too big, a bit too bulky, so I think I'll have to look again and get something different. Again, here's the rear caliper, rebuilt, all new stainless steel fasteners, stainless steel pins and so on, and hopefully it's got a few more years in it yet. The rotors, the disc rotors here, were in the right state. Because the discs are cast iron, they rust so quickly and they're floating, and they're in a really bad state. They're still not perfect, but they've been stripped. These have been skimmed, painted, and where needed, these washers and circlips have been replaced when they were so corroded that they wouldn't go back on the bike. Not difficult to do, but needs doing. Here we have the stainless steel H-pipe, which sits beneath the engine. Again, as standard, the Guzzi has stainless steel downpipe, so I'll be getting a stainless steel set of baffles for it at some point. One problem with this is that they're quite weak and they crack. I don't know if you can see here, but here and here, this has been welded and repaired by me. It's a bit battered, but a good polish, and most of it you can't see anyway. The rear silencers will fit all over here, so that shouldn't look too bad. As for the electrics, I'll be fitting one of these. Quite a modern lithium ion battery, very light and tiny compared to the size of the originals. Cold cranking amps on this I think is 290 CCA, so it should be able to start the bike, hopefully. And now I've got to find a home for it, probably underneath the gearbox, but I'll wait until I've got the exhaust system on so I know how much space I've got. That's it really. I'm still waiting for some parts. Got to save up for the wheel rims, spokes, chrome's due next week. I'm also having some new spindles made in stainless for the wheels. The originals are chrome and pretty battered, so I'm just waiting on that. It's been done as a favour, so can't really rush that. And over here, that's the one I did a while ago. That's my Norley 1000cc again, iron head engine in a Norton featherbed frame. A lot of work went into that. Okay, looking on this side now, there's the brakes. When I got the Torosa rear sets, I was missing quite a few parts because the bike was incomplete when I got it, so we had to make some link rods and so on. It's nice to see the various oil galleries and so on, and dipsticks are actually made in brass and they polish up really nicely, so that's quite nice, a bit retro, standard. There you can see the drilled and painted bevel box. Rear shocks are YSS, they're nice and cheap. I'm not sure if I'll keep them, but they'll do for now. Another thing I didn't have when I got the bike was levers and so on, so this front lever here, brake lever, is actually from an early R1, Yamaha R1. Normally Guzzis have linked brakes, so your rear brake operates the rear brake and one front caliper. I got rid of that, I don't like the idea. So now they're de-linked and it's all pretty standard. I'm not sure about the seat unit. I'll have to wait until the tank's been painted and see what it looks like and stand back. I may change it to something a bit different, I'm not sure yet. Throttles, of course, is a Tomaselli, which I really like. They work really well and look good. I've also changed the headlamp mounts because I didn't like the originals. They were more sort of cruiser than cafe racer. And hopefully next few months it'll be finished. Get it on the dyno and see what it makes. I suspect it'll be about 60 brake horsepower, nothing too fantastic, but we can always get more if needed. And that's about it really. Over there something a bit more modern, that's a 93 888 SP4 Rep. That's my sort of main bike. And then, as I say, over here we've got my Norley, which again had a huge amount of work in it. Made the exhaust systems in stainless, the rims and spokes are stainless, rims are Murad, which I like, I've built them. Front forks are off a Honda Hornet of Oblings with one-off yokes. It's a pitch I've not really had time to ride it really. I've hurt my back, so there's not been many miles on this thing yet. But hopefully maybe this year. And that's it really. Cheers.